Well, Nikama, that was a great video, right? That 10 minutes video had so much to cover about the history of AI, and especially um, never mind. I had the tab open on different window. There was so much that Amy covered in just about 10 minutes. Really liked that winter AI part where she covered on how things stopped in the field of AI. Having said that, Nigama, what is the next session at this event?
Our next session is implementation of linear regression models, and our speaker is Kartikey. Welcome, Kartikey.
Yeah, hello everyone. So specifically talking hello folks for because community is related to inclusive and so we are talking on hello folks. Yeah.
Okay, that's great, Karthikeya. You have a very exciting topic to talk today. Linear regression, very basic, and I would say the very
Yeah.
first step, but it's on TensorFlow Js now, which makes it very, very exciting. We are all looking forward for your session. I see you have shared your screen, and
Yep.
yeah, you can get started.
Great. I hope so. My screen is visible to all the attendees. So, like implementation of linear regression model using TensorFlow.js. Even though those who are not familiar with machine learning as such, I also give a small introduction of linear regression. So, getting into anything, what is TensorFlow.js, especially that what I will go to. So, actually, who I am. So, my name is Kartikey Rawat. I am also been a member of TensorFlow.js SIG and working group member. I'm also GSOC student this year under TensorFlow org, and I contributed to TensorFlow.js for MLSA, and I'm a beta MLSA right now. I'm a founder of my own local community, OpenCo. I'm also an organizer at TensorFlow user group Chandigarh, and you can see him at Twitter on Dude if you want to join me. Yeah, cool. So what is TensorFlow.js specially? So it's an open source library for machine learning, specifically for the web developers, those who are using JavaScript, obviously. Cool. So machine learning in JavaScript, why and what is TensorFlow? Those who didn't know about, I am talking about here totally on beginner's end. So TensorFlow is a free and open source software library for data flow, differential programming, or specifically some scientific programming across a range of tasks. So it is a basically symbolic math library, you can say. When we're talking about machine learning, computer vision kind of stuff, it's only related to mathematics only. So all the mathematical libraries, in short, in terms we can say it's a machine learning or deep learning library specifically. Yeah. So in TensorFlow.js, why TensorFlow.js? So because use ML anywhere using JavaScript. So actually, JavaScript can run on browser, server, and browser talking about like we can support on the Safari, and like I will talk about later on that also. But you can also work on server, desktop application, mobile application, and also for IoT. That's pretty much cool. So talking about more on the TF.js, where it can support. So in browser, it can support Chrome, Google Chrome, Safari, and Firefox. In server side, the whole server, you can say backend stuff is based on Node.js. So you can go on there. Cool. In mobile application also, if you are a React Native developer, if you are a WeChat developer, or specifically I'm talking about PW, that is you can say professionally web application specifically. So you can go on there. In desktop, Electron framework is also we are supporting here also. If you are very fond of desktop application. IoT, Raspberry Pi, I hope so many of you know those who are being active in IoT community specifically. So yeah. So why TensorFlow.js? So it basically run, retrain, and write the very existing model. Also, if you want, you can use pre-trained model that is obviously in TensorFlow Hub. You can see all the models of machine learning models that is supported by TensorFlow. Again, if you want, you can retrain that existing model that we called transfer learning. At the end, I will show a small demonstration also. So and how you can also write the model in JavaScript. Like many people thought that we only write the machine learning model in Python, but now that's the power of JavaScript. You can say you can write the model, machine learning model in JavaScript also without very from scratch. Cool. So pre-trained model, I'm just giving you a small intro about what is pre-trained, what are the pre-trained model that is there in the TensorFlow Hub. Image classification, object detection, body segmentation, pose estimation, text toxicity. If you are in NLP also, so sentence encoding, like text or toxicity, speech command, and KNN classifier if you want. And if you want to explore more on it, you can go to TensorFlow.org JS model and you can see over it. Cool. Now, talking about object recognition using Cocoa, so that is a demo that is demonstrated by by our community, and you can see over. I will just going through on that end. So with a little bit of creativity, yes, that's a superpower. Web development, those who thinking like machine learning is a very trendiest thing, but we the web developer can't understand. No, You just need to have a basic knowledge of machine learning, and you can do a lot of in a creative end. Also not in creative end, if you want to explore on the development end also, that's a great opportunity for web developers to get into machine learning using TensorFlow.js. Cool. So another delightful creation, that's like, you can say TensorFlow.js has used of like using a clothing size estimation. So it's just like it's done by our senior developer advocate, that is Jason Maves, and it's a like open source, so you can go there and like if you want you can contribute to, because I'm like a big fan of open source. Cool. Now transfer learning. So we can retrain the existing model to work with your own data. That's the transfer learning meaning. And talking about how you can do in cloud AutoML also, as machine learning, as TF.js also support in Azure also. So if you are very good with Azure, you are good with deployment, that is when we call MLOps. It also supporting Google or Google Cloud also, but also it's supporting Azure also, and I am also like working on over it, so we can give a like a on that end. So how it works is simple. You have to create a model, just optimize it. Why I'm giving you this kind of, so you can kind of a brief if you want to deploy the whole machine learning TFJS model on your cloud. That's super easy, because all things are specifically on the cloud only right now. Cool. So I'm not going into, so the basic command was when we talking about very basic kind of thing, why like how you can do that stuff. Cool. So with the use of that, what you can do is like just create a, you didn't need to install anything. I'm truly saying you didn't need to install anything. You just have to connect it with internet. You have to use a CDN link that is in script tag that you are seeing source equal to cdn.js deliver. So you can use that, directly use these CDN. You didn't need to install anything. You have to use directly using internet. You didn't have to train. Again, training is done on the cloud, so you didn't have to pay anything. It's all free, so you have to use directly on that end. And normal thing, if you, because it's a training, when we're talking about training, it takes time. It takes a lot of time. If I'm like building a, like if I have a lot of data, so training that data for that particular model, it needs time. So that's why we use async function in JavaScript. Those who are pretty much familiar with JavaScript, they pretty much know why I'm saying on that end. Cool. Now TensorFlow, write your own code. That is superpower of TensorFlow.js. Cool. And on the API structuring, how you can create your own models. Today I'm talking about linear regression, but again, how you can make a bigger models also using TensorFlow.js if you are a JavaScript developer. Cool. So I'm just giving you a normal architecture out of it, how you can do that stuff. So there are 3 layers: model, layer API, and core ops API. You can say that is the main high level stuff, but you didn't have to go there. You have to work on mostly on the model and layer API as a beginner. If you want to go in depth of TensorFlow, you can do a lot of things. So just giving you a, so there is 2 parts. First is client, that is you can work on browser, WeChat, and React Native that I am show earlier. So what it support: CPU, WebGL, and WASM. Now it's added on WebGPU also to enhance the power of model in terms of like speedability, or you can say in terms of sustainability of talking about models. Cool. And in server end, if you are like a backend developer, okay, so you have to work on only on a server end, you can say Node.js kind of thing. So it also supports CPU, GPU, and also now in recent year we are working on TPU also, that is tensor processing unit. And I think I hope so you got something over that end. So again, all the Keras model, again, because TensorFlow is inspired by Keras total stuff. So the whole starting layer are from Keras, and you can say again, there are all other feature, that is TensorFlow shaped model, TFJS converter. If you are like a Python developer, you are not in JavaScript developer, suppose. So what you can do, you can use TFJS converter. You need to do anything. You just create a Python script on that particular, maybe if you're creating or training that model. So just convert it using TFJS converter. It's just a simple thing. I will ping all the resources in the end. Cool. So the modern inference that what we got from the server is great, talking about when we're comparing about it. So you can also use Hugging Faces. That Hugging Face right now very popular right now, so you can use that also. Cool. So 5 server-side superpower that TensorFlow.js can give you: privacy, lower latency, lower cost. Lower cost is like ineligible because it's like a free kind of thing. If you're deploying any stuff on the maybe on the cloud, so again, but it's kind of you're contributing to open source community. It's like that only. And reach and scale, because it support GPU support most of the 84% of devices through, you can say, WebGL. Cool. Talking about server, use TensorFlow saved model without conversion. You didn't need to like have, if you have a 2 to 3 GB data and you are training that, I'm taking an example, but it's okay for our system also because it's again supporting WebGL. So it's a very, very safe space, you can say, all on that end. And coding in one level, if you already use JavaScript, it's cool. Also, I'm again talking about like you can convert the whole stuff. If you're a Python developer, you can directly convert the whole stuff into JavaScript. And processing, it's also supports C binding, JetBoost. Basically what it, if you are very you can say WASM means WebAssembly kind of thing, and you want to specifically talking about, or like you want to speed up the model using, because binary binding are the fastest one because it directly connected to the assembly level language or machine level language, you can say. So that's the power of TensorFlow.js. Again, we are working on WASM part also. Cool. Now the main topic that we want to create, that is linear regression model. So talking about, even though if you are from a school folk also, and you want to explore linear regression model, so what you can do actually, so just go a normal y is equal to mx plus c. I think so many people have got this. So it's even though you didn't know what is y is equal to mx plus c, it's simple. It's a straight line and dot. If I get a data points are suppose if I'm taking a comparison of what image that is showing in the PPT, you're taking, there is some many dots are there, and if if the majority dots are creating a line, that's a linear regression model. Again, linear regression model talking about if you have a straight line with connected with data points, that's the linear regression model. Linear regression means linear means straight. Cool. Now how I implement, because I implement linear regression model in terms of very graphical and representative. And so what I have to do, so libraries that we will use, again TensorFlow.js. So you have to use script source CDN file. You didn't need to install anything. Again, I'm saying you didn't need to install anything. Just add CDN file to it and you can do awesome stuff. Again, I'm using p5.js. Why I'm using here? Because I have to create, because in JavaScript we have to create canvas for that. So I have to create canvas and many stuff also. So it makes p5.js helps me better to use that because as it's a framework again. So there's a like code from one of the researcher called Smith. Somewhere between simple linear regression, deep neural network, he grew up become as a data scientist. Cool. So those are thinking linear regression is a very basic. It's not came into maybe deep learning. No, you are wrong. It's like a very basic part of the deep neural network. Cool. So let's jump into the code. So what we will do, first we create a HTML file and JSS file, add CDN to HTML file and link the JavaScript file with the HTML, as you know, normal thing, and jump into the linear regression one. So I will come back to the slide of this one because I will show you the like the link specifically. I will share with you all if you want to give collaborate on my small project. Cool. So what we need to do here, normal, create HTML file. Cool. Tag if you want to give a title like tensor. I've given a title tensor. So just add script tag. Two script tag I added. First one is for tf.js and second one is for p5.js. Again, because in p5.js you didn't need to install anything, directly use CDN link, and you can just directly go to the Google and search it about what a CDN file, CDN link for p5.js and CDN link for tfjs you will got easily. Cool. And you need to add body kind of thing, anything, because it's very basic stuff. So I'm going now the main thing, what we are doing here. So as talking about linear regression, that means y is equal to mx plus c. Cool. So yeah, so here m, that is slope, and the other part, that is b, is the constant one, because it basically iterate on that, and iterate means it will just fluctuate on that. I have to retweet on that end, because if we want to stabilize the model, or if you create a better model, a better prediction, so I have to reiterate it. So again, I'm then given the depth of what is linear learning rate and optimize. Just understand what I'm doing here. Cool. So suppose I'm taking a constant called learning rate about 0.5. Cool. Now optimize it. Those who didn't know what is optimize it, just to optimize the whole model in a better way. So just I'm using a model optimizer called SGD, that is stochastic gradient descent. And those who are pretty much familiar with machine learning, they pretty much know on that end. Now function setup. So this is the part of p5.js. So there is two functions that I will use, setup function and draw function. So that's the part of p5.js. So what I'm doing, I'm creating a canvas that is a 400 cross 400. Now m and b is like a tweaking kind of thing. So what I'm doing, I'm just creating two variables in TensorFlow. Those who know, in tf.js, I'm creating variable like this: tf.variable, tf.scalar, and random one, because it can be created a random generation on that end. Same with b, because it's I have to tweak these parameters actually. M and b, I have to tweak this parameter to make a stable model again. Cool. Now we are here. Okay, so for talking about the loss function and why I am coming with the loss function, those who didn't know what is loss function, actually it's normal thing, like how I can reduce the errors that I got from the loss function. Basically I have to reduce the error, or I have just find out the error. So what I can do that. So there is a function in JavaScript, you can say prediction. Again, it's a part of TF.js. You can go to the documentation of TF.js and you can see all the function out there, what I'm using. So prediction dot sub means subtraction, labels dot square dot mean. What is the meaning of this? The subtraction of labels. Labels means it can be, I'm taking an example like x0, x1. I'm taking in a coordinate of it. So what is the subtraction of labels mean? X0 minus x1 dot square mean x0 minus x1 whole square. Then I am taking a mean, and I will, after that I get a prediction out of it. Cool. Now I take a function called creating a function called predict, because I have to predict also. It's not like that I just giving like, yeah, from that in the loss function what we got the errors. Now I have with removing that error, I have to use it into real time, that is in prediction. So I'm creating a variable called access. So I'm creating a tensor basically, because if you're talking about deep learning, all things are done in under tensors. Tensors are talking about, it's just a upgrade version of vectors. Vector is a 2-dimension, so tensor is a 3-dimension. We contain 3-dimension kind of stuff. Cool. So what we are taking, I'm taking an x over what are the value and storing in form of tensor. Same with ys. So ys, what I'm doing, access dot mul, that is multiplication of m dot add b, that is mean as simple as mx plus c. If you say m into x plus sorry, not c, that is b, and I'm just returning that particular ys to the prediction, that what I got a prediction. Okay, cool. And the function mouse pressed is that I have to add the data points also over here. Cool. Now for adding the data points, again, there's a function in p5.js mousepad. If I click and I'm just creating some of the parameters, that is mouse x, mouse y, 0, 0. That is from the coordinate of, you can say coordinate of x, y common thing. And what I'm doing here, I'm starting from 0 to width, same with 0 to height. And talking about the x and y coordinate 0, 1 and 1, 0 is the normal thing, is like from the x, what I'm doing from starting from 0 to 1, and from y I'm starting from 1 to 0, like dropping that. Again, if I increase the x, y will decrease. As simple as the logic is. Cool. Now this is the main important thing why I'm doing this and why it is happening here. So cool. I created a function called draw. Now tf.tidy, it's the because on every constant, or that the value or the retweeting parameter that I'm doing, because it's creating new values. So I am actually creating new tensors specifically. So I have to, because I have to use only my only the tensor, like about maybe I want to, because I reiterate that, so I didn't want to create extra tensors. So removing that extra tensor I'm using here. So what I'm doing, if x.value.length is greater than 0, I'm just taking a condition over there. So if the ys, that is, I'm just converting the whole thing into tensor and just optimizing that part in a minimize, like I have to minimize that stuff. So that's what I'm doing here. Cool. Now the starting one, if you will see, background 0 is the color I have given in a black, I hope so, black one. Cool. I'm just giving a stroke of 255, that is white. Stroke weight is 4. So yeah, I hope so you got in that end. And I'm just creating a loop. Why I'm creating a loop? This is the p5.js part that I'm doing, the background, stroke and stroke weight. So actually what I'm doing, I'm creating a loop from 0 to, like, I'm starting from I equal to 0 to x value, that is the particular length of that particular maybe array, and I'm mapping that part. Basically I'm just mapping. If I'm creating a dot, so it should be create like a symbolize over there, and as I want to accept that as a data point. Cool. So I'm just taking as okay. So this is the looping I have to done from like from 0 to x and from 0 to y kind of thing. Cool. Now what I'm creating a line x kind of variable which is starting from 0 to 1, and I'm just predicting that stuff with a function again, tidy and predict line x. From line y, this is the function called data sync, because I have to sync the data from the ys. Why I'm doing that? Because I have to compare with 0, because line x, that is 0, 1, that I created a parameter over here. And ys.dispose, the dispose function is to kill the all tensor that I created for this particular model, or train that particular model. Cool. Now what I'm doing, again, it's the same thing with I've done with access. So same thing will happen with ys. So again, and the ending ys.dispose, I'm killing all the tensor that I created during my whole training stuff. Cool. now at the last, what I'm doing, last but not the least, you can say, so I'm just adding 4 variable x1, x2, y1, y2, because linear regression have a straight line. Cool. So if I'm talking from starting from one point, that is comma, that will be x1 comma y1, and it's ended from the point x2 comma y2. So that's what I created here, like line x, I'm taking 0 0, then 0 1, 0, from 0 to 1, and 0 to width. Same with x2, y1, and y2. And I'm just adding the stroke weight because I have to create a line for that. That's the data point that I've added over there. Cool. At the last, if you want to check up like my tensors are killing or not, so just console.log tf.memory num tensor basically is a function, or it's a function, basically memory function. It contains a sub function that is num tensor, in which we are telling about what are the number of tensor that it's created by him. Cool. Now let's go to the demo to get indulged with you on that end. Cool. So I hope so it's visible to all, and I'm just going to the you can say the tensors part, and yep, so this I'm just adding random values over here. Cool. I'm just adding random values over here, and it's stabilized. Like I'm just going like in a, like suppose I have to make in a line, so I'm just adding, and it's actually stabilizing it. And if you see after 5, why it happened only for 5, because it use only 5 tensors, because if I remove the dispose part, so it will generate so many tensors, and you can do stuff again. All the things are open source in my GitHub, so you can, if you want, you can do that stuff also. And it's stabilizing. If I'm going suppose here also, so it's stabilizing on that end also. Cool. So I hope so you got the, you can say, descriptive point of that end. And yeah, cool. So let me go to the next one. Now I done with my demo. So how TensorFlow.js can use, it's a come a long way again, because we got it, like it's like old stats, you can say 2.6 million downloads, but right now I think so it's about 3 million plus. I hope so. And there is so many issues. If you are like an open source contributor, if you want to explore WebML, so that's a chance you can start contributing to it. And yeah, community is so much welcoming about it. And yeah, at the end, what are the future WebML? If you're very interested in projects of WebML, so what you can do? Machine learning offers enormous possibility for the web. We are still early, but we need like trendiest kind of thing, you can say, on that end. So high value application and solution for the ML use in front end web, because we want to make it as simple as it is for the web developers, because again, machine learning is the future, you can say, on that end. Parity and unification with the rest of TensorFlow tooling, and we are performing very improvements on the performance-based improvement. Also, we are coming with some hardware stuff in collaboration with the Intel and Microsoft also. Support for more platform, task-oriented model with standardized metadata. Also, we just collaborated with Microsoft, TensorFlow.js and Microsoft collaborated on a data science kind of tool. And if you want, you can explore it. It is on the TensorFlow YouTube channel if you want to explore on that part. And we also working on security and privacy, because why I'm saying security privacy are important, because again, yeah, whole model and whole data that we are consuming to train yourself, or you train that particular model is really important, because data security nowadays is a very, very important thing. Cool. So what are the resources you can use? So again, this is a book, Deep Learning with JavaScript. So you can go there. It's from the Manning publication. So you can go there. If you want to explore more, you can go to the website, tensorflow.org/js. All the models are in the tensorflow.org/js/models. If you want to contribute to GitHub, so again, github.com/tensorflow/tfjs, it's under TensorFlow organization. Google Groups, again, if you want to join a mailing list, tfjs@tensorflow.org is there. CodePen of TensorFlow is also open. So if you want to explore TensorFlow or TensorFlow project, all the CodePen, all the code, or you can say all the projects are listed in CodePens. And also we are on the Glitch also. So if you want to join a Glitch and we want to explore through Glitch, the tutorials that we are creating over here. Cool. So join the community. If you got something insight from this session, take a screenshot out of this, folks. Tag me, tag Global AI Community, tag MLSA, and tag, if you want, you can use this hashtag made with TFJS. We are bringing so much in the machine learning stuff, and we are increasing day by day, and we are focusing on that. Community can do anything if you can support us, and community is a way you can explore so much thing from worldwide. Cool. So this is the thing that you can just go to this challenge, and you can complete learning book, because again, learning a model by focusing on learn module, because again, if you can learn model, you are basically doing a social value kind of stuff, and that's really important nowadays. If you can learn, because it's also increasing your skills, and that's a positive or greater impact for the also for social environment also. From your learning model, it's creating a tree. Yep, you are planting a like tree in short, you can say. So it's a great thing that what global AI has come over it. So I hope so you got challenge on that end, and stay in touch with me if you want to connect with me. You can follow me on Twitter, and if you want to connect with me, my whole stuff is on Kerry on that stuff. So yeah, that's what I am indulged with right now. So yep, I am ended with the session. Yep.
That was a great session. I would say a very fast-paced session. It sounded more like a Channing Express, but that was absolutely great. So Kartikey, quick question. I saw you using the CDNs right now.
Yep.
CDNs are very fast, but sometimes they would also give you a problem with the page loads. Are there any
Yep.
other ways where we can incorporate the TensorFlow JS in that existing, say, Vue project or React project or Node project?
Yep, sure. So also, if you are not good, like yeah, it's truly saying by Simmons on that end. Like CDN is also sometimes maybe it's not preferable, because if we are working on development end, so yeah, NPM packages are open to NPM and Yarn packages are open for, again, if you want to explore more models, you can again go for there. And if you just want to use the framework, again, NPM package for all Tensor, if you want to install directly from NPM also. And if you are Linux guy, if you're Linux folk, again, you can use Yarn also. Yarn is preferable over that end. So yeah, you can check out the NPM packages, search NPM package of TensorFlow.js or TensorFlow.js, and you can easily got it. Yeah.
That's perfect, right? That solves the problem that, hey, if I don't want to use the CDNs, I want to install in my project itself, then there are NPM and Yarn available. Okay, having said that, you did create a canvas, right? So there was that was a pretty cool demo, and you did say about linear regression. So are there entire library, just like we would have in scikit-learn or other like PyTorch, an entire library for algorithms? Is it the same way how it works for TensorFlow.js?
Yeah, so there is a repository, not about the library I can say, but there is a repository called TensorFlow.js, TensorFlow.js examples, where many people just collaborated over there and share their project, like mini project. Maybe I created a small project for linear regression, but there are many people who just create a small code labs on that end. So if anyone wants to, if anyone created using TensorFlow.js, so they can contribute over that project also. Again, if you contribute there also, it's you are being a part of the family of TensorFlow. So yeah, again, it's like open source kind of stuff. It's not a library as such, but if you want to explore more, and there are many projects listed in that particular repository. And again, if you think you have a greater idea during TensorFlow.js, again, you can made it tag JSON waves me and use hashtag made with TFJS. So actually, there is a stream by Jason has done on more. And it's kind of a 3+ session has gone on that end, where from around the world, people, those who are used TensorFlow.js in their project, it's kind of a like showcasing that stuff. And yeah, again, if you're not good with that showcasing kind of stuff, again, you can contribute to TensorFlow.js. Also, we are here in the GSOC also, so you can also create a maybe kind of a project idea, like I want to work in. So if you are good with bringing that idea into GSOC, that's also preferable also. Yeah.
Absolutely great. That reminds me that there's also not just with TensorFlow.js, right? There are other, I would say, libraries like Rubik's ML. It's a library that's used for the PHP developers, right? If you want to, if you're on a Laravel application and you want to use PHP to write all this linear regression, you can also use Rubik's ML. So that was great, Kartikey. I would say you covered a lot in just about 25 minutes, right? Well-paced session. Any final thing you want to plug in before we move to the next session?
Yeah, so I just want to say, folks, those who are listening to us, do not take tension. Like many people I saw in community, they are very fear of like machine learning. It's a kind of big thing. No, it's a not big thing. If you want to get started with the machine learning, again, you are a web developer, I must say start with TensorFlow.js, because all things are pre-trained. You didn't need to create anything. But after that, if you got a you can say energy kind of thing to more work with machine learning, then you can start get deep dig into like throughout the organization of TensorFlow or PyTorch or any machine learning organization that is